Hey guys, here today to get into our new unit, which is the Texas Revolution, starting to it's called Unrest and Revolt, and so this is where Texas decides to start, um, not liking what's going on in with Mexico and deciding that it needs to get away and break away from Mexico. So our warm up for today is: do you think Anglo settlers in Texas were more loyal to their new country or their native country, and why? And so there's your stem. Anglo settlers were more loyal to blank because blank. So I'm going to give you a second to answer that. Okay, I'm back. Hope you came up with a good answer. This is a thought question, but as we go through, I think we'll pretty much figure out that Anglo settlers that came into Texas were more loyal to the United States, and you'll see why. Here's a famous piece of artwork called it's called American Progress, and it's by John Gast. But this is a great example of manifest destiny. That whole idea where people are trying to move west because they believe that, or Americans believe that we should control the entire continent of North America and be able to move freely. And so you can see all kinds of cool things about advancement and about people moving west, like railroads and electric lines and pushing the Indians west and trail rides and Rocky Mountains over here, and you have these dark clouds because you don't know what's there, and over here you have the brightness of the East and what it stands for. So lots of cool things in that picture. So if you ever get a chance, go look it up. American Progress is its name. So we can see that the impresario system was very, very successful in Texas. It brought lots and lots of Anglos into Texas. 20,703 Anglo settlers were brought in, and that number is probably not high enough due to the ones that came in. That's just the ones by record that were actually written down and went through the impresario system. About 1,000 slaves are brought in, so number of slaves is pretty low. You would think there would be a lot more for that many settlers. The Mexicans that settled in Texas, about 4,000 came up through the impresario system, and then even Indians, Native Americans settled through the impresario system. About 2,500 got free land because of that. And then just one definition word that I wanted to give you today is the Tejano, and that is a Mexican settler who identifies more with Texas. They're from Mexico, but they've kind of gotten to the point of moving into the idea of being a Texan instead of a Mexican, and so those people are called Tejano. One of the most famous Tejanos is a guy named Juan Seguin, and that was the son of Erasmo Seguin, who was one of the famous impresarios. So, as I said earlier, we are to the point now where Texas is starting to decide that they're not liking what's going on in Texas and the way they're being treated by the Mexican government. And so we're going to see some things start to happen. Now, the first thing is 1826, the Fredonian Rebellion. This occurred in Nacogdoches. It was the settlers decided that they were going to rebel against the Mexican government and the problems that were going on. The rebellion collapses after Mexican troops approach. You got to remember that Mexico's been fighting in wars for a while now, and so their soldiers are very trained. They're very well supplied, and it causes lots of problems for the Texan forces. Because of this, the U.S. now sees an opportunity that we may be able to get Texas from Mexico simply because maybe they don't want to deal with it. But so the U.S. tries to buy Texas from Mexico both in 1827 and 1829. But obviously, we know that Mexico refuses and doesn't sell Texas to the United States, which probably been easier if they would have. So Mexico sent a guy down into Texas or over into Texas to check out what was going on and just to see what the feelings were there. And he wrote a report, the Mir-e-Tehran report, in 1827. And basically his report was a report back to Santa Anna saying that Mexico is losing Texas, that the Texans are deciding that, you know, they don't want to be a part of Mexico, and, you know, it's going to be hard to hold it. And so he wrote a report, and this report recommended that Santa Anna send more Mexican troops to the area, and then try to get more European and Mexican settlers instead of Anglo settlers from the United States, because they felt that these Anglo settlers were the ones he felt that the Anglo settlers were the ones that were kind of stirring up the Texans and having them work towards independence. So Mexico, as we move forward, issues this thing called the Decree of 1829, where this was an order from Mexico City abolishing slavery in Texas. And many Texans were very, very concerned over this because really slavery is really important to the economic health of Texas, especially with cotton and those kind of things. So this was another kind of, another stab at the Texans by Mexico. And we didn't like it. And most Texans ignore this and still continue to bring slaves in and still continue to use slaves in the fields. Now, this next part is, as we move forward in time, you can see the timeline happening here is that the law of April 6th, 1830, just another poke at the Texans, where they offer generous land grants and financial assistance to get European and Mexican families to move to Texas. And so they offer these tons of free land, money even, pay for them to come over to settle Texas. And basically, they do not allow any more immigration from the United States to Texas with this law. And so it's not good. And just like I said before, just another one of those little stabs, another one of those little things to encourage Texas to want to break away. So use the information that I gave you in this PowerPoint, in this video, to go and fill out some things in the chart that's also assigned. Now, the chart will be something that we work on for a while during this unit. So it's called the Actions Lead to Rebellion chart. So many of these things that I talked about today are going to be on there. So take a look at that, and good luck and have a good one.